Hello students, it's Mr. Sims here. We're on page 61 and this is day 7 of module 2. We've spent some time using the calculator to combine rational numbers. Now we're going to talk about multiplying and dividing rational numbers. So in our first exercise here, we've got a couple of real world word problems that involve rational numbers. Remember, rational numbers are fractions and decimals. So here we got a couple of mixed numbers, and then here we've got some decimals. Okay, so write an equation to find the total number of pounds that Tanya lost. So Tanya lost 2 1/5 pounds in 3 1/5 weeks. So it would be modeled by losing 2 1/5 pounds times 3 1/2 weeks. Okay? So when we apply to our rules of multiplying and dividing, if you have a negative times a positive, I know immediately my answer is negative. One of the things I'm going to stress in this lesson today, especially with multiplying and dividing, is getting the sign first. All right? And by getting the sign first, then you're not going to worry about forgetting about that sign. So now, as far as the multiplication is concerned, I mean, we'll be honest, you're going to use a calculator. So here's a calculator. Remember, if you start with a negative, it's negative 2 ABC1 ABC5 times 3 ABC1 ABC2, and you'll see it does give you the negative, so this would be negative 7 7/10 pounds over the span of 3 1/2 weeks. All right, one is a little bit more common. What is the resulting monthly change in the family's income? Remember, change can be positive or negative. Positive if the change is up, negative if the change is going down. All right, so in 1 year, Belinda's parents spent this amount of money on cable and internet. If they spend the same amount each month, what is the resulting change? Okay, so this is 1 year. Okay, they want to know each month. So there's 12 months in a year. So this would be represented by paying. So this is paying money. So this is going to be a negative $2,640.90. And then we divide that by 12. Okay, the family's income, paying something makes the family's income go down. So I know my answer is negative. So then you just say 26,490, 40. 0 divided by 12. And it's $220.08. And yes, we would round that. All right. So the rules for multiplying and dividing rational numbers are the same for multiplying integers. Plus plus equals plus. Plus minus equals minus. Minus times a negative times a positive equals a negative, and a negative times a negative equals a positive. Right? For multiplying and dividing. All right, so let's get to just some basic, some fluency exercises of finding. All right, find each product. Product means multiply. All right. Now, I am going to show this first one by hand because I think it is important for you to understand. How do we do these? Because I'll tell you, some of you could probably do this quicker by hand by doing the math out than it would to put the calculator in. Plus, when you have to rely on this calculator, there's chances that you could hit wrong buttons. All right, so find each product, which is multiply. So I'm going to multiply these two fractions together. Okay, I'm going to talk about these answer boxes. I have a negative times a positive. I know my answer is negative. So now I could just do the math. Right now, remember when you multiply fractions, right, and this is one thing, I know we spent so much time in the first module cross multiplying, but when we multiply fractions, you go across the top, you go across the bottom. 5 times 1 is 5. 4 times 3 is 12. So then you did that a little bit quicker than actually using the calculator. And don't be afraid to do that from time to time. All right, so next one I got negative 1 1/4 times 12. So I know my answer is negative. You make an answer box. You don't have to make a box, but I think it is very useful to get that sign first. All right, this one you'll probably use a calculator for. So negative 1 ABC1 ABC4 times 12. And it does give you negative 15. Because I have been finding that some of you, even though in the last couple of days, even though the negative is on the calculator, some of you still forget to put it there. All right, and then the last one, you have a negative times a negative. I know my answer is positive. So, negative 1, clear. Negative 1, ABC5, ABC7 times negative 2. And yes, you would have to use the negative button in this case. Right, and this would be 4 and 2/7. Right, so that's multiplying. Right, so now we turn the page to page 62. Example 3. Quotient. Oh, we're kind of out of focus. There we go. The word quotient means divide. And this is really, fractions are the only times that you really see the actual multiplication and division symbol. It's not very common. But note that you could also see this as negative 2/3 divided by negative 10/7. All right, so just like the last one, I'm going to do this one by hand, just because sometimes it might be a little bit quicker. Let's see. Answer box. I have a negative divided by a negative, so I'm going to know my answer is positive. Keep in mind, you don't have to put the plus sign there. Some issues remaining focused. You guys may remember KCF, keep, change, flip. Okay. So here's what's nice about getting that sign first. You don't have to worry about it anymore. You can keep this 2/3 times 7/10. Okay. And you don't have to worry about the sign because you've already determined that it's going to be. All right, now, some of you may remember, before you multiply, sometimes you can do what we call cross-canceling. So what I mean is, here, 2, I can look at the 2 and the 10, and they have a common factor. 2 goes into 2 once, into 10 5 times. And then I can go 1 times 7 and get 7, and I can go 3 times 5 and get 15. Right? Obviously, you can do that on a calculator if you want. All right, looking at these other ones. The thing about mixed numbers, if you're going to do them by hand, you have to make them improper. You guys might remember this as getting mad, where you start with the bottom and you go around to the top and make an improper fraction out of it. I know most of you probably just go right to the calculator, so we'll just do that. Here's what's nice. Watch this. I have a negative divided by a negative. I know my answer is positive. So you know what that means? I don't even have to put the negatives in the calculator because missing the wrong button. So watch this. I'm not going to put the negatives in because I already know it's positive. So the signs don't matter. So I take 2. I'm going to divide that by 3, ABC 4, ABC 5, and I get 10/19. Right, and then one more, just to finish up. All right, I have a negative divided by a positive. I know my answer is negative, so now I don't have to worry about the sign. I can just do 3, ABC 7, ABC 10, divided by 2, ABC 1, ABC 4. And I get 1 and 29/45. All right. So this concludes the lesson video for the second part. What you're going to be looking to do is, on the next couple pages, some fluency. So on page 63, we'll be looking at doing these 4 problems, 7 through 10. And on page 64, these 4 problems here. So 4 multiplication, 4 division. Check in with one of us to make sure that everything is going well. So recorded lessons, day 7. This is Mr. Sims signing off.